Hi, my name is Silantro, and I'm back in creating content. Life is hard, okay? So I'm sorry. So now I noticed that a lot of content creators and even players actually make their own tier lists. We have tier lists with the characters that they hate, how busted they are, and then I realized that no one has done a move list tier list. Each player has a different usage of a character's move or a character's move list. And so, for example, maybe your 1+2 usage or your liking of that 1+2 is different from mine. And I think this is a great way for me to explore how I use and how I look at Xiaoyu's move list. Fortunately, OK7.gg updated their website and how it looks like and how it functions. And so we are going to go to, of course, Xiaoyu. How this tier list is going to go is we are going to go to each move, and then after a few loops or an intro of mine, we will go to the bottom. So you won't get annoyed with the looped GIF, GIF, whatever you want to call it. And then we will go to the other tab to see where I will put it. This is a text only tier list, so I don't need to do the buttons. In here, also by scrolling down here, you can see at the top left, the startup, the block frames, the hit frames, or whatever other information that a move has. So if there's an additional, I will tell you, okay? So let's start. Now, the first move is simply the jab or one. Now, for Xiaoyu, it's just a simple jab, but the thing is, that one has a lot of extensions. So we can go with 1 2 1, 1 down 2, 1 down 2 1+2, 1 down 2 back, and so on. So more on that later when we get there, but we're talking about the jab. So the jab, how I use Xiaoyu's jab is I need a plus. So as you can see here, we have a +1 on block. So basically, once you have a +1 on block, all of your moves will be 1 frame faster. So let's say we have DF2-3. So your DF2 is I14. If you do the jab and it goes to block, then your DF2-3 will now become I13. So for example, your 1 hits the enemy, the DF2-3 will now be at 6. It's a very important jab. Don't be afraid to let it out because it has a lot of benefits. It also kind of resets. It's like poking your enemy to face me. Okay. Now it doesn't mean that they are aligned. That let's say your linear moves like UF2 will now be successful. It's more of like a soft reset, but you are in an advantage with your +1 and you put your enemy to -1. So that is very important. Okay. So I'll put it on S because it's a very good move. I know for a first move, a simple jab, why is it an S? It's that good, and you need to kind of spam that in order for you to understand its benefits. Okay, just one. Next move is a 1 2, and I use this as a round start or if I'm going straight to the enemy. So the reason for that is for the startup, this is I10, this is still I10. You can have a delayed 1 in there. So basically, by simply just doing 1 2, you are putting a layer of mix up to your enemy. So for example, you're just doing 1 2, and then you do nothing. Now for the next time, they might try to contest it because you are -3 in block. Then you do your 1 2 1 or the delayed 1 2 1. This is also jailing, so they cannot do anything as long as the 1 2 is doing its animation. This is also a great wall carry after doing, let's say, a heat burst or maybe something like a tornado. So it's a very high, not high, but it's like a far wall carry, but you need a dash for that in most of the cases. I will put it on, let's say, A. It's not plus and block, but it has a good mix-up potential, so I put it on A. And of course, we're going to talk about the full extension or the string, and that is 1 2 1. And basically, this is, like I said, a great mix up when you're just doing 1 2, and then you'll surprise them with a 1 2 1. This also hits the enemy when they are back turned on the wall. Sometimes, most of the time, back then in Tekken 6 or 7, it was consistent, but now it's not. So just use it sparingly, or when you do it, just know that there's a chance for it to fail. Now, if you see the second hit of the extension as a counter hit, then the one will be guaranteed because it will be a natural combo by then. Now, this is a knockdown and a wall splat and a wall break or whatever. So, and also a knockdown. So keep in mind that you will have a certain zoom animation when you hit it. Now on block, this has a great pushback for you to either dash back or dash back AOP. So when you partner it with something like B1 plus 2, B1 plus 2 actually does uh, a very slight high crush. So basically, if they try to contest it with a jab, what you do is once the 1-2-1 gets blocked, you just backdash and you just let out your B1 plus 2, and most of the jabs will be high crushed. Okay? So, nothing more about that. It's completely safe. You can't be launched. So, and it has a pushback. So, something like Flash of Yoshimitsu won't even hit you. Okay? So, for this, I'll put this in the A tier. So, because it's along with the mix up potential for the 1 2. So, it just makes sense that they are beside each other. Next is 1 down 2 and 1 down 2 with the capital D. On hit, it's a natural combo, but on second hit, it will have a plus 10 advantage when it's counter hit. The second hit, and what happens is you can go for an RDS B3 because RDS B3 is I10. You can either transition to the neutral by just holding your down, or when you hold your B, you can go to hip. Now, the thing is, when you transition, you should commit to it and you can't delay most of the transitions. So basically, when you do 1 down 2 back, you should do it instantly. You can't delay it. You can kind of delay it by delaying your down 2. Okay, so it's like 1 neutral down to B instead of 1 down to neutral back. So I hope you get the difference. And so how I use this is, for example, you hit the enemy with this with them back turn, and then you do 1 down 2. What will happen is you will get a guaranteed RDS 4. So it's very helpful. It works since second, I don't know, second 4, 5, 6. It works since then. So that's a great way for you to actually launch your enemy with in a guaranteed manner. So now I use the down 2 with the uppercase D. If, for example, I know my 1 got blocked, I won't transition to hip. Okay? Yes, I am minus, but I am neutral. I am safe. Right? I can parry, I can block, I can crush block, I can low parry, whatever. Now, the reason why I don't want to go to hip, yes, it decreases the minus. But the thing is, going to hip, even in that moment, will put you in a much more vulnerable state than you being in RDS. So when you do 1 down 2 back, you only do it when you know 1 is going to hit. So basically, if you're, let's say you're going to punish someone with a jab or a 1 down 2, then that's when you can go for the hip option because it's much more safer because you are in plus. Do you need to go to the hip parry, or should you wait for something to happen? For me, no. You will just get clipped. You can do the 1 down 2 hypnotist mix up. If you do it for Oki, you don't do it in the neutral. Okay, in an aggressive game like Tekken 8, there's no room for something like that unless your opponent is very scared of you. Okay, so if they're not, then they will try to contest it because they know, oh, hip, you're vulnerable. If you committed into doing the 1 down to hip, then you could go for your hypnotist 4, which is a fast move, or just go for your hip 2 or hip 3 because both hip 2 and hip 3 have slight crush properties. But hip 4 is for when they mash. So don't worry about hip 4. Yes, it can be crouched, but the thing is, on block, it will give you pushback. On hit, it will give you an instant launch. So again, for me, never ever go hypnotist when you know your 1 down 2 gets blocked. Okay? So yes, you might be less minus, but behind that or below the iceberg, deeper down the iceberg, you are more unsafe than when you hit them on block. Okay. Additionally, with the 1 down 2, there are times that, let's say, oh, I could have B1 plus 2 that, but I did 1 down 2. You never stress about it in a match. Focus more on what it will give you. Okay, so for example, it will give you plus 8. 1 down 2 will give you plus 8. You use that plus 8. Okay, yes, it could be a launch winning round, but the thing is, if you stress about that in a match or when you are thinking about that in a match, your mind will be kind of get hazy, and you'll focus more on your mistakes rather than the benefit of it giving you a great +8 on hit or +11 on hip. Okay? So don't feel ashamed if your 1 down 2 is the punish that you put out. Okay? So for that, I'll put this in the S. So there are a lot of plays that you can do with this. You can do this for Oki, you can do this for guaranteed launch on back turned hit, and so much more. This is one of her iconic moves for me. So there you go. Next move is 1 down 2, 1+2. This is another extension for the 1 down 2, 1+2, and I personally use it a lot in both during the fight and as an ender. So during the fight, I do this if I want or if I feel that the enemy will mash, and then I get a free launch with FF3. This will also test your enemy's knowledge during the fight because the third hit can be sidestep. So be wary of that. Even if 1+2, we haven't shown 1+2, but 1+2 is just -7. And this one, if you complete the string, it's a very risky move. So that's why you need to have more of like a feel of what your opponent is doing or your opponent's behavior before doing this. But like I said, it's a great check if they know the extension. So you'll get the reward if they mash while you're doing the 1 down 2, but then you can get clipped when they know how to counter it. Okay, now typically in the ending state of a fight, people will tend to get mashy. So if for example they blocked your 1 down 2, they want to go in, like most of them, even if they know the extension, because psychologically they need to get the lead again. So it's a great way to end the fight with this one. Now with this move, this is going to be our first B. I know it can be a good mix, but the thing is I put this in the B because again it is a very risky string, but I put 1 down 2 in S because 1 down 2 alone has so much more potential rather than 1 down 2, 1+2. I can say that 1 down 2, 1+2 is a very situational move, but that's just me. Now next is the 1+3 throw. So this is homing. This is I-12. Whenever I use this, both 1+3 and 2+4 have very good Oki potential, at least for my playstyle, because they put your enemies to a weird OTG state. That is a great way for me to go for some Okis because, like, for example, in this one, they can't spring kick in front of you. So keep that in mind. So you can do a lot of things. I tend to do the DF2 mix up, but some people still do the B1+2. I just want something that is more, let's say, safer. We'll discuss about the RDS throw later, or the RDS version of this. I use that more rather than the front facing version of the 1+3. So for this, I'll put this in the A tier. Next is the heat burst, or 2+3, and it's a very universal move, so you know most of it. I use it at the very first launch. Okay, so my current playstyle is called the Silantro formula, or launch and kill, and you'll know more about it in the Believix video. But the thing is, when you launch the enemy, you should have the intent to kill. Okay, I know a lot of Xiaoyu players do or save their 2+3 or their heat burst on a wall, but I use the opportunity of that launch to extend, or let's say the better term is to enhance my momentum when I do the heat burst. Because when I go to heat burst, most of my hypnotist moves are buffed, and also I get the benefits of the heat dash, the heat smash, and everything. So I need to use that benefit, or that enhanced benefit, to my advantage for me to end the round. Okay, so it's very hard to explain on how to do that. Like I said, in the Believix video, I showed a part of it. Okay, so well, sometimes I still forget to do the heat burst because maybe I went for some weird Oki or setup. But the thing is, once I do my heat burst, I do the intent to kill. Okay, so for the 2+3, since it's universal, I will just go with something like A. Also, for the 2+3, I forgot to mention this. For the 2+3, if I don't use this as a power crush, by the way. I use this as a desperate attempt to get a plus. That is not F4, and also not jab. Okay, now the Power Crush property of it is like a bonus, but I don't see it as a Power Crush. I see it as a plus one or a free plus one or a desperate plus one. So keep that in mind when you are getting pressured. So you can just run in to kind of realign and then do your 2 plus 3. But some of them will just sidewalk or sidestep. So be wary of when to use it, okay? Okay, so next is standing 3. This is a very good whiff punisher that has a very good range. It has a bit of slight crush property, and also it kind of tracks slightly on the left and the right. So this is a great round start launch, and it's kind of safe in on block. You'll just get jabbed, or if the opponent has an I-11 heat engager, I think that's Lee, then he can do that. But more or less, you are safer with this move. Now, this is also a short wall carry after the hip 3 plus 4. So all of you know that. So that's just my stance on the standing 3. Now, it's one of the best whiff punishers in the game, at least for me, and it's also 14. So if you have an enemy that has a minus 14 move and you blocked it, then go for your standing 3. Not all characters have an I-14 launcher. Remember that on standing, okay, specifically. So for standing 3, I'll put this in A. Next is 3 plus 4. Now 3 plus 4 is a decent mid-range kick. It has low crush properties, but also it's very linear. Back in Tekken 6 and 7, this move puts you to while standing or to crouch, but in this case, you are put to standing. Or if you choose to go to AOP, then you just press your down. You're putting your enemy on crouch, right? So if you put your enemy on crouch, then their moves are limited. So their fastest move is the I-11. Most of them have the I-11 while standing 4. Xiaoyu has one, which is while standing 4. So for me, it's not that advisable to go to the AOP. If you go to AOP and it gets blocked, then you go your AOP down or your AOP roll for the potential to evade. But the thing is, if you choose to stay in AOP, then you will get clipped with a lot of moves. Okay, so choose the next defensive option after you do a 3 plus 4 down. Okay? Also, this is a counter hit launch on even if you go to AOP or not. So it's basically a launcher in that regard. So now, this also low crushes. I don't see it as a low crush. I see it as more of like a mid-range pressure tool. I partnered this a lot with a sidestep. It's kind of linear, so it's like doing the sidestep will give you a feeling if 3 plus 4 is safe to use or not. Okay, this is also a good follow-up for things like two-step hip 3 or your RDS 1 plus 2 1 plus 2. It is a very good ground hitting move. This is a popular follow-up for the F2 1 neutral 2. You can go to AOP or you can go to just the 3 plus 4. Personally, I don't use this a lot nowadays. Back then, I used this a lot, but I know Xiaoyu players that use this a lot with their playstyle, but not for mine. So for 3 plus 4, let's put it in the A tier. So even if I don't use it, I know it's a very good move. Okay, so there you go. Next is the simple standing 4. Now a lot of characters don't have standing 4s anymore. Back in Tekken 7, this was a launch, but now it will put your enemy on like a spinning animation and they will be taken down. You can't combo out of it. But the thing is, this is a great round start if you know your enemy well. Okay, so knowing the enemy well after 2 rounds or maybe the second match or anything like that. If they tend to mash, like they have a startup move and every round they have a startup move, then you can safely just put this out and then you will counter hit them and then you can follow it up with 3 plus 4. So now for me, I also use this as a combo filler if I want to be relaxed. So let's say it's like both of the enemies are in like 30% health and I did an RDS mistrust or an RDS 4, then I will just simply go for my 4 just so I am relaxed that I know it will hit and I don't need to worry about other stuff like will my F3 one hit or something like that. I will put this in a lower tier, let's say B. It's a very situational hit. It won't actually make you win a round. Let's put it that way. Okay? So Actually, I'll put this in the C. Okay, so doesn't mean that it's bad. All of the moves here, even if I put this in the D, doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just how I play. Okay, so this is my tier list. So basically, this is how I view the moves. Okay, next is AOP 1. AOP 1 will put you to the while standing state if you don't do AOP 1 to AOP 1 4 or AOP 1 back to hypnotist. One thing about me, I don't hit confirm a lot. I don't do the RDS 1 plus 2 hit confirm. I don't do the AOP 1 hit confirms. So for this one, when you do this, you are basically adding a layer to your enemy that, okay, am I gonna do AOP 1 2 next or AOP 1 4 the next time? Or something like that. Now, the thing is, since this will put you in the while standing state, you can go for a while standing move. Duh. So now you can go for a potential launch with while standing 2, or you could go for a fast move, which is while standing 4, which is I11. Now for the hip, for this one, if you recall earlier with the 1 down 2, I suggest you to not go to hip, even though it's kind of minus. But the thing is, 1 down 2 has a longer animation than AOP 1. So AOP 1 to hip is more of like a snap animation rather than a lingering animation, because with 1 down 2 your enemy is prepared. Okay, so but if you do AOP 1B, then it's an instant. Now for you, you need to be instant as well, similar to the 1 down 2 back. You need to commit to a move instantly, because going to hip will put you in a very vulnerable state, even if you have the parry, even if hip 3 has a low crush property, you are vulnerable to a lot of stuff. Again, if you go to AOP 1B, you should commit. AOP 1B hip 2, AOP 1B hip 4, something like that. I'll put this in the B. It has a lot of potential, but also it's also a very risky mix-up to actually do. Doing AOP 1, if it gets blocked, you will be minus. If you do AOP 1B on plus or on minus, you are vulnerable to hop kicks and so much more. AOP 1-2 is high, but it gives you a lot of pushback. More on that later. And AOP 1-4 will put you to RDS and you are at minus. So basically, doing the mix will put you in a lot of vulnerable states. So that's why it's in the B. Okay? Now, next is AOP 1-2. Now, this move or this string can be delayed. So it's like 1-2, something like that. But the thing is, it will lose its natural combo property, if I recall. Now, also, regarding the AOP 1B, you can't delay that, by the way. But with AOP 1-4 and AOP 1-2, you can choose to delay it, get a potential hit or a potential wall splat with AOP 1-4 later. But the thing is, this is also mid-high, so your enemy can duck it. So now, if your opponent ducks this one and they are ready, they can simply just hop kick you. If, for example, AOP 1-2 gets blocked, this will give you a lot of pushback on block. So definitely you could go for your RDS sidestep, or you could go for your RDS TB. When you do that, expect a whiff. Okay? So I teach that a lot in coaching. Now, if you do a whiff creating move or a whiff or an evasive move or stance or this and that, you need to prepare for your whiff punisher. So if, for example, you do AP 1-2, then you do RDS TB, you go for something like UB3 or B1 plus 2. Now, I have a pushback guide in the Believix guide, so all of the links are in the description and in the comments, so just go with that. Now, let's talk about that plus 30G. Plus 30G means guardable advantage. So with the 30G, basically your opponent can still block your lows and highs, but basically they can't move. Okay? So now you use that 30 frame advantage either to go for another movement or to use that to access your slower RDS moves. Okay, so you could go for your, let's say, RDS D4. You could go for your RDS homing throw because you want to use that plus 30G. There are 30 frames that your enemy simply can't attack. It's up to you on what you want to happen. So for this, I'll put this in the A, simply because I know it's riskier, but it gives you a lot more benefit rather than AOP 1. Okay, so that's just me. Sorry. AOP 1 2. Now, of course, we also have AOP 1 4. So now I don't have an AOP 1 mix up in mind. Okay, I know AOP 1 2 is high, so AOP 1 4 is a mid. So basically, you can let your enemy get baited or get mixed by it. I don't. I personally don't because every option with AOP 1 is has a risk or has lots of risks. Now, for me, I use this as a wall carry sometimes and also a tornado after a while running 3 if my body decides to do AOP 1-4. So now this is also tornado, keep that in mind. And also this is -9 in block, but the thing is you are in RDS. Go for a defensive option, let's say a Sabaki or an RDS TP, or just simply go in front by tapping your back while in RDS. Now, a lot of enemies tend to crouch because they're so used with AOP 1 2, so you can just simply let this out with no mix up in mind. Okay? So, but that's just me. Okay? Put this alongside with AOP 1 because it has less benefits than AOP 1 2. So, I'll put that there. Okay, next is AOP 2-1, and this is a heat engager, and it's a very fast heat engager, but the thing is you need to be in AOP. So basically, this is not a block punish move, it's more of like a whiff punish move. Now, this is one of the strings where you can delay the transition, and that is AOP 2-1B, or AOP 2 neutral 1B, something like that. So now, with this, you can also hit confirm this with let's say for a few frames. This is not a true hit confirm. When you do this move, you need to, my favorite word is commit, but that is just how it is. You need to commit. Do you cancel or do you hit? Now, if you hit, you expect a knockdown. If you don't have heat, you expect a heat engager if you have the heat meter, or you can go for a heat dash after this. Since this is a very fast move, this is I-13. So when you whiff something with AOP, then this is a very much acceptable move to let out because it's fast. I know AOP 4 is faster, but AOP 2-1 will, put you to heat, put you to, can go for a transition mix up. Now, if you choose to commit to the RDS option, then you need to be ready for your next move. You don't look at your enemy, what is the enemy going to do with my transition? You should be looking at yourself. Do you do an RDS throw? Do you do an RDS heat smash? Something like that. Okay, so for this one, I'll put this in the A because it's good. It's fast. It's a great whiff punish. It has a transition. It has a fast transition, and it can have a lot of plays. Okay. Now I know if you transition, even on hit, you are minus. But the thing is, you are putting mental stack to your enemy on what you should do next. Are you gonna complete the string? Are you gonna finish the transition? What are you gonna do after the transition? And stuff like that. So I'll put this in the A. Okay. So next is AOP 3. So with AOP 3, this is a very long ranged but slow low poke or a low counter hit launcher. This is a great round ender. So now after this, you will be put in the while standing state. So keep that in mind and you'll be at 0. This is also high crush. You can see that in the note. I just use this for if my enemy kind of turtles and I need a low poke that is also long range. Also, this move is not being used a lot by Xiaoyu players, so it's more of like an unusual move. So less likely that they will block it. So as a round ender, your enemy will naturally have a turtle kind of mindset. So this is a great way to end it. Now, even if it's long ranged, it has a very slow startup. Okay, so your opponent can still sidestep it, or they can backdash away, they can jump and this and that. So make sure that you do this in a decent range rather than a Jin heat smash range. Okay, so yeah, those are just my notes about that. Now this one, I'll put this in the C. This is very situational. So, but I still like using it, but I don't use it that much. It's that situational, okay? Okay, so next is AOP 4. Only a few things about this. AOP 4, I use it after I do AOP UF31 as a wall combo ender. Not always, but I know it's guaranteed, and also with FF1D. So now, this one will give you plus 8. I know it's the fastest move in AOP, but I seldomly think of it like an I-12 move. I think of it more as an unscaled wall combo ender. Plus, this is guaranteed after RDS UF1. With the RDS UF1 to AUP4, because that is guaranteed, it will give you plus 8. Psychologically, your enemy will get weirded out on why that hit, even if they went for a neutral guard or if they block or anything, because it won't work. So now they will have a natural state of panic on why that happened. So now you can then use that plus 8 instantly to do stuff like a launcher, or one of my favorites is the heat smash. So it's really up to you on how to use that plus 8. Okay. Now, poking wise, I don't use this. Neutral wise, I don't use this. So in the ranking, since I don't have that much usage of this, I would go for C in this one. Next is AOP 3 plus 4. So this is a kind of like a hell sweep type of move, because it doesn't need to be like a counter hit, it just needs to be a regular hit to actually sweep. This is a great ground hitting move. So if your opponent doesn't wake up, then you can do that, because if they wake up and, well, they stand up, they will get tripped, but if they stay, it will deal a lot of damage. So now the thing is, I only use this for Oki. I rarely use this on neutral, because on neutral it is like super duper reactable. You can do it if you partner it with a plus. So let's say I do it with a while running 3, and then because of the plus 7, sometimes I know my enemy won't actually attack me. So now I go for that sweep because of the mental stack of the plus 7. But then I don't use this at all. So in here, I will put it another C tier. Next is AOP down. Now AOP down on counter hit will be a throw, and it will actually ground break or floor break. And also, if you do this for Oki, it will actually flip the enemy, pancake flip. So you can change their wake up options. Now, outside of that, this is a very slow low, and AOP F4 or AOP F2 are better lows if you are thinking about AOP lows. Even AOP 3, which is, like I said earlier, it's a very situational move, is actually better than this. So now it has decent range, but it's like you're minus on hit and you're minus on block. So it's not it's a it has its uses, but it's more situational than AUP 3. If in season 3 they would have another extension for this, then I will be happy. But yeah, it's not that great of a move. So I'll put this in the D tier. So it's my first D tier. Moves that are going to be in the D tier are moves that in like 200 games I won't even use it. Okay, not that I hate it. I know that there are times that I'm gonna use it like intentionally, but not in every game. Okay, so I'm sorry, but that's a D tier. I don't know if you guys like AUP D1, but I hate that move. So, but I know its uses. That's the important part. Next is AUP D1 plus 2. Now, this can be a combo filler after UB3 or after a wall blast. But outside of that, this is a heavy launcher type of move, and it has a very slow startup, so that means you need to have a good read to the enemy. Now this is so useful when you are fighting against a Warung, which has the high power crush or the backlash, or yeah, it's a backlash, because by the time it will be done, you are crushing the backlash naturally with AOP, but then you are partnering it with a launcher that will exactly come out after the backlash ends. There's a slight recovery window there, so you can launch Warung with that. Now on block, it's safe and it has a decent amount of pushback. How I use this is sometimes you will just actually feel it on when to release it. I don't even do it, so it's just sort of like a feeling. I know there's APUF3, which is a better launcher and a faster one, but AUP D1 plus 2 gives this sort of illusion also that will confuse your enemy that, oh, the Xiaoyu is doing a low, but then they will duck it. If they block it, then you're minus 8, that's fine. But if they continue to block, assuming that it is an AOP 3 plus 4 or another low, then they will get launched. Now, this is one of Xiaoyu's like Tekken 3 moves. The launcher is there, okay? So it's not like you need to do it every match or something like that. I might try to do it more, but the thing is, I have a personal rule of mine on my playstyle that I don't stay in a stance for too long. It doesn't mean that I mash, but the thing is, I have a certain flow with my moves, and so AOP D1 plus 2 is not included in that flow or in that style. It's not flowchart, but style. So with AOP D1 plus 2, I'll put this in the C. So there you go. Next is AOP 3 plus 4. So this doesn't have any attack properties or anything like that. But the thing is, this is more of like a dance move. You can go to AOP by holding down, or you can go to while standing if you just let it out. Or if you want to go to full crouch, you let the animation end, and then you will have an awkward neutral, and then you will just hold your down. Because if you hold down, you'll be in AOP. So now this has an extension. I think they didn't put it. It's the same animation with the second input of F3 plus 4, 3 plus 4. But then, if you do that, we'll go to there, but you'll have another plus. Now, this also high crushes. Also, in some moments with running moves, running high moves, you will actually go to the back of your enemy. So you need to be ready with your RDS 214 in that moment. So now in here, since you are in while standing, I prefer to do while standing too. So it can be a counter hit. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not gonna do this if I am this close to the enemy, like in the GIF. So now I do this when I am in like a Clive distance type of distance, and then I want to go kind of near to the enemy. And sometimes if I know that they're gonna mash, then I would go for a while standing two or something like that. It's a great dance move, but it has limited usage as well. But the thing is, since I can go to AOP, I can go to while standing, I could go to FC, I can also go for the AOP F3 plus 4, 3 plus 4, that gives you plus 8, then I think this is a great move. So I'll put that in B. Next is AUP F4, and I will be discussing both AUP F4 and AUP F44 here. So now, if you do, now here it's a very short one. Now, if you do one hit of AUP F4 or FC DF4, you will be sense locked with AUP. But you get your plus 4, okay? So other than that, you can see the notes here. It's a high crush, alternate input, and the sense lock, which I just said. I use this if I want to flip the enemy on the wall, and it's part of my oki in the wall or at the wall. You can try to do that after you do AOP UF3 1 as an ender, or if you did 3 plus 4 down as an ender. So now let's go to the AOP F44, which is kind of like the similar move, but the thing is, you're not stance locked to AOP in this move, but you will be in while standing. And if you wait for a neutral frame, you could go to full crouch if you hold your down. Now, this one is not a natural combo on regular hit, but on counter hit, it will be. So this one will give you plus 5, but then even if you have plus 5, you are limited to while standing moves and UF, U, and UB moves, okay? If you decide to do this in a wall combo ender, it will flip the enemy like twice, unlike with the AUPF1, which is once. This is a great ender as well because it puts your enemy to a mix. Most of the time, enemies see Xiaoyus do this with 2 hits, but then if you just go with 1, then you go with AUP F4 again, and the second time you will go for 2 AUP F4 fours, then it's a great mix, or it's a great ender. It makes your opponent think. So for this one, I'll put this in a higher B. So there you go. Okay, so AUP UF3. Now, I don't know why not a lot of Xiaoyu players use this move. It's actually a good hop kick, and it's a great whiff punisher when you whiff something with AOP or doing AOP. So now the thing is, maybe they are scared of the minus 17. Now the thing is, AOP UF3 has 2 extensions. Back then it had 3, which is AOP UF3 3. Now it only has AOP UF3 1 and UF3 4. Now, the thing is, even if it's minus 17, since a lot of enemies, old or new, know that it has extensions, they will be very afraid to attack. So that minus 17, with the mental stack that this has two extensions, is more than enough stack for them to not attack you. Okay, so just let this out. In here, you can see it's a low crush. Now, in here, it also has two alternate inputs, and that is APUB3 and APU3. Now, the purpose of the APUB3 is for you to be not launch them, but it's like get away from me type of move. And APU3 is more of like you are not putting yourself in a up forward motion, so you will get clipped less. But if you just do the AP3, you are not going to a forward, so a lot of moves will actually whiff. So this one is actually an S, so because I use this a lot and it works for me with wonders. So there you go. Next is AOP UF34. So this is a very, very rare launcher that I use. So, but the thing is, it has its benefits, okay? So now, let's say we are in a fight, and then I do AOP UF3 out of nowhere. Now, this can't be delayed. Like, there's a small delay window, like tiny, tiny. But the thing is, there are moments that I know that my APUF3 is out of range. So now that is the time when I instantly input my 4 input for the potential plus 22 guardable advantage. Now it's the same thing with the AOP 1-2 earlier, it's guardable advantage. So basically your opponent can still block, your opponent can still do this and that, but they can't move or, in those 22 frames. So in that 22 frames advantage, you can go for your slower moves to get another plus. So let's say you would go for your FF4 or you would want to go for a throw, right? So something like that. So it's really up to you on how you will use your plus 22 guardable advantage as long as you know that they can still block it. Now, for experienced players, they can launch this. Brian players have an I-14. Xiaoyu has an I-14. So on block, but don't worry. The mental, like I said, the mental stack is enough for them to not remember that this is punishable. So yes, for this move, I would put it in a low B. So not low low, but a low B. It has its moments, but it's not that really good of a launcher. So go for UB3 when you launch an enemy with this one. Okay. Now next is AOP UF31. Now this is one of the extensions that I talked about earlier with the AOP UF3, and now this is a great floor splat move or floor break move, and also back then in Tekken 6 this had a bound state, but now it's like just a ground hit. Now it's -4 on block, but the thing is you are in AOP. So if you stand up, you have a few frames wherein you're vulnerable. Okay, so if you decided to go for AOP up, you immediately hold your back. Or if this one gets blocked, then you could go for an AOPD or an AOP roll, but how I do it is an AOP heat burst. That is something that you could try because it actually works a lot. Now, this on hit will, the second hit, if it hits, it will put your enemy to crouch. So it will be +8, so it's a lot. This is the time wherein you can actually go for a slower move, like, and a riskier move, which is AOP 3+4. But in my playstyle, I tend to not use AOP 3+4 that much. Now, let's say if you whiffed something with AOP and then you went for AOP UF3-1. Now, obviously, the AOP UF3 is the better option. But the thing is, if you do that, if you know that you, well, quote unquote, messed up, you go straight to your next move, or you don't stress or you don't shame yourself on doing a better move. Okay? You just move on to the next play, to the next move, or anything like that. Now, also, I use this as a combo ender at the wall, and that is also a part of my Oki. Speaking of AOP UF31, I have a video in the Believix guide. So there's a timestamp there wherein there's a whole guide about how I use AOP UF31 for Oki at the wall. So it's very helpful. So please just go there. Okay. For this one, for AUP, you have 3-1. Even though it's one of my favorite moves, I will go for higher A only. It doesn't create that much opportunity outside the wall. So, but it's a higher A because it's a great wall Oki or a wall combo ender for wall Oki. Okay. Now we're gonna talk about AUP UF4 or AUP U4. I will also now similar to the AUP F44 and the FCDF44. This is a two. I will show two clips and they're kind of the same. So it's like, what's the point? This is a great ender, not because it's it's pretty or something like that, but the thing is it low crushes, and also it has a very very nice range. Okay, so now it only gives you like it's like +1, and this will put you to while standing. If you go to down, you will go to AOP. If you wait for neutral while standing and you hold your down, you'll be in full crouch. Now, I this one has an RDS option, like I said, by holding B, but I never used it. Like it has no benefit. You will just be more vulnerable on hit or on block, and the reason for that is it doesn't give you the move doesn't give you pushback. Okay, so basically, yes, you hit the AOP U4 and you went to RDS, and you have defensive options there. I said this to one of my students, and I told him that you are looking for your minus, so don't look for your minus. So just use this as a regular poke, a long ranged poke, and you'll be surprised how effective this move is. Now on the second one, this one will put you to while standing at the ending, but it doesn't have an input for you to go to the RDS option or the AOP. It will simply just go for the while standing, or if you wait for a little bit, the full crouch. So in this one, you can see that -12 on block, but and also on hit, it will give you -1. So you're in while standing. So for me, just block, or if you are kind of brave, then go for your while standing 1-4, which is I-12, or let's say while standing 4, which is a very fast move. So just keep in mind that you're -1. Okay. So also this is a low crush move. I do this if it's similar to the AOP UF 3-1. I only do a secondary AOP UF4 if I know that the first one will miss. Okay, so you will see that a lot of players will actually get clipped by it. They will try to contest it. So for this, I'll put this in a high A. So it's not that big of a move. Okay, so but it's a great great move. Next is B1. If you hold this, you will go to the front facing. If you just tap it, then you will be in RDS. Now it's really up to you. The thing is, B1, like on regular, it will give you a decent amount of distance, not pushback, but the distance away from your enemy. By the way, this has like 5 active frames. The amount of advantage you will get will depend on what active frame it will hit. Okay, so it's not like you can see here +1. It's not that. Sometimes you're minus, even on hit, sometimes you're not. This is a great stop pressure tool. It's like Yoshi's Flash, but it's much more forgivable. This is a game changer or around a comeback move for some, even on my side, because it will stop all of the pressure. It is advisable for players that have like a stance pressure, preferably Reina. I don't know about Warong. Warong is always plus, but Reina, you can go for some stance pressure stopping spree, I guess. And so this is one of her most annoying moves. As a Xiaoyu, I also get annoyed by this. And also, this will actually create an awkward space or an awkward moment with you and your enemy. There's a phenomenon that both of you will pause. So use that moment as a psychological layer to your enemy. So this one is an S, just because it's one of Xiaoyu's best tools in the game. It's a great panic move. Also, the downside, you have a bad recovery when it whiffs. So next is B1+2, and this is our I-15 launcher. A lot of characters have an I-15 hop kick, Xiaoyu's is I-16. So more on that later. B1 plus 2 is a very good tracking move on both sides. So if, for example, you at round start your enemy is doing a sidestep or a sidewalk, you can try to launch them with B1 plus 2. And also after a heat dash or heat burst, most of them are actually sidewalking or sidestepping. I don't recommend this with Lily. But with other characters, it will clip them or it will launch them on the side. And so, since it has two hits with one input, then it also has a lot of active frames. Your B1 plus 2 will sometimes hit late. So keep that in mind that when you do this, there is a possibility that the B1 plus 2's second hit will launch the enemy. Okay, so don't mind about the 13. This is also a great ground move after the heat dash. So you can try to float them and you will get a free UB4 if the timing is correct in the wall. So I have a tutorial in that in my YouTube channel as well. So try that out. So this is a great move. I'll actually put this in the S. So there you go. Now alternatively with your B1, you could try to go for your B1 plus 3. Now this one can parry heat bursts. Now B1 plus 3 is a punch and a kick parry as well. Now I don't use this in the neutral that much unless it's like a continuous pressure. But there are certain moves, if it gets blocked, I will do the B1 plus 3 instantly in RDS. So that is RDS B1 plus 3 or RDS B2 plus 4. And that is, for example, if my DB2 gets blocked. Once the animation ends, it will have a plus 6 on your advantage. So it's a great comeback tool as well. This one is kind of like a situational, but it's very important that you use this in a fight, whether in the RDS version or when you are in the neutral state. So I would go for a low B, something like that. So this won't win you games, okay? But that plus 6 can actually win you the round, okay? Okay, so we're gonna talk about B2 too. I'm gonna show B2 and B2 too. Now B2, you're gonna be stance locked to backturn or RDS. This one is one of my favorite enders. Okay, like you can see in my replays, I always do B2 too, and the reason for that is this is a very popular mid-low string. So a lot of enemies will actually parry the second hit, or if you try to delay it, you can try to fish for a counter hit, or when they are finished fuzzy ducking. Now, the reason why this is a good ender, since it is a known string, like a known mid-low string, you can actually mix this up. So if you just do B2 and it gets blocked, the enemy won't even use that minus 6 because they know that there's a follow-up, right? So if you do your minus 6, might as well, you can just block or find your plus again with RDS D3 or do a defensive option, which is, let's say, a power crush or a sidestep. Really up to you. Okay, so that is B2, and we go to B22. This will also stance lock you in RDS. You can delay it, by the way. B22 or the B2 is a counter hit, it will be a natural combo, but it won't launch. If the second hit is a solo counter hit, then you can launch it with RDS CB4 or something like that. So similar to what I said with B2, when your opponent is on the ground and you do this move, if they try to stand up, they will get hit with the B2. If they don't stand up in the right timing, then the B22's low hit will kill them. Okay, so that's why this is a great combo ender, at least for me. So even if it's one of my favorite combo enders, I will still put them in, let's say, a middle A. It's a very situational move, but it won me a lot of games, like a lot of games. So it's supposed to be in a B, but I'll put this in the middle B. There you go. Maybe after this. Okay. Next is B3, and it's one of the obscure moves for Xiaoyu, even though it's been released since I think Tekken 5. So now this will stance lock you to a back turn, and then it will put your enemy to crouch if you know it's a regular hit, standing on block, but they will be knocked down on counter hit. Now this one you use it more of I use it more of like a combo filler. If for some reason I use it in neutral, then I use that +3 in order to launch the enemy with RDS 4 or RDS 2 to 1 and find a counter hit for that. So this is like a very obscure move. You won't actually use it that much in the neutral, but it's so good with something like DF3 or 3-step hip 3. Okay? So for this, I will put it in C. And it also has bad tracking. Okay, so and for some reason, a lot of people or a lot of enemies fuzzy duck this. I don't know why or I don't know how, but yeah. So that's why it's that low in there. Now next is B3+4, and this is a sense transition, and obviously it will go to RDS. Now this one is an evasive move, but if you expect it to evade your moves, then it will not work. Okay, so this one has like a very subtle natural sidestep. It's not a sidestep, but a natural one. So what I do with this move is I use it with my dancing outside enemy range, or if I'm gonna go to the enemy range, I will input it in this range. Not in this range, but in this. So in this way, when they attack, if it's a linear move, then it will kind of whiff. And so I also do this for Oki. Now the thing is, I keep saying this a lot with a lot of players, a lot of friends also, and also my students. So when you do a certain move, like a sidestep. Let's say you do RDS D3 on its own, but next time you do it B3+4 and then RDS D3. That is already a different move than RDS D3. Okay, so this one, it's like putting an additional topping on a burger. So it will actually make your moves different than it is. Also, this is a great way for Oki because it allows your enemy to wake up. Use the slow animation of this move to go to RDS and wait for your enemy to wake up, and then you will punish them for waking up. Okay? Now, the reason why I want you to wait for your enemy to wake up is there are certain moves that will whiff if you try to do moves like boom boom boom. Okay, so this one, doing this will give you the space and the time, and your moves will hit more, whatever move it is. Okay, so for this one, I'll put this in sort of high A. Okay, there you go. Okay, next is B41, and it's every Xiaoyu player's favorite Season 1 early red ranks, purple ranked move. I keep telling this to, well, my friends, my students, whoever. Don't use B41 in high ranks. Just for the sole reason that it's -14. Cilantro, can I use B41 in neutral? Yes. With certain conditions. If you can, hit confirm this by delaying the one input, then go ahead. Now, there are only a few instances where this is a great move. And that is when you are in heat. When you are in heat and you do a heat dash, you get your +5, and then you won't get the -14 anymore. So in the neutral, I use this as a punisher, an I-13 punisher. I don't use it to fish a heat engager. So for this one, I'll put this in a B. Now I will be showing RDS 1 and RDS 1 2. So RDS 1 on its own is a great counter hit fishing move. That's how I'm gonna, say it. But the thing is, it's not working the way it should be because it's very bugged. Its hitbox is bugged. So they kind of fix it with RDS 1 too. But RDS 1 alone is sometimes round costing to the point that I always just use my RDS 1 2. So now for this, I just use this as a combo filler. It works better in that way. But sometimes I will still do the counter hit fishing. But most of the time, it really just whips for some reason. So for RDS 1 alone, I would go for the lower B. It's still good, don't worry. So if this move gets blocked, just remember to go for a defensive option rather than contesting it with another move. Okay. Now next one is the artist 1 2. So this is our favorite tornado in ever since the start of Tekken. So this one can be cancelled to while standing or full crouch if you hold your down. Since you're gonna be in the while standing after canceling, if it gets a counter hit, then charge your while standing too. Okay, so nothing more about this other than I use this more rather than the singular RDS one, and it's a natural hit. Okay, so it's great if, for example, your opponent might guess that you're doing a low, but in reality, you're gonna do your RDS one too. So since it's a counter hit, so just go for that. I'll put this RDS one two will be put in the high B compared to just the RDS one. Next is RDS one plus two, and the other extensions will be discussed separately. So for RDS one two, I don't use this on its own. I only use the extensions, but other Xiaoyu players use this as a mix, which you can as well. So it's a very known string with the RDS 1 plus 2 4, which is a mid high. So there's another option, which is RDS 1 plus 2 1 plus 2, which is a mid. But doing this will actually make them think. So you can do a throw here, you can do a surprise low, or you can delay the extension. Now for this, I don't normally use it. Sometimes I need a psychological layer to the enemy, so I use this, but I only do it once. RDS 1 plus 2 alone will be put in B. Next is RDS 1 plus 2 1 plus 2, and this is the mid extension. So this one is, I don't use this in like I said earlier, keep repeating, sorry, but I don't hit confirm with RDS 1 plus 2 options, but I do it in a Clive type of distance. So this has so many active frames that most of the enemies will just get knocked down, and then you can go for the 3 plus 4 follow up. But if you still want to hit confirm this, then no problem with that. But for me, it's more on me being able to knock them down in a very far distance. Okay, because Xiaoyu will travel so far on the stage with this move. This is a natural combo on hit as well. It has a large delay window, and for the hit confirm and for the natural combo hit confirm. Okay, so I use this a lot. I will put this in A. So there you go. Now with the mid-high extension, this is a heat engager, and like I said, you can hit confirm this if you want. I don't. It's too much stress for me in a fight. So, but this one, when you heat dash with it, and it's not from a combo, sometimes it's from a combo as well. You can actually start a combo with this. So a lot of low and high rank players actually duck this. I don't use this move unless it's a whip punish. That's just me. It's up to you if you want to hit confirm this. Like RDS 1 plus 2 1 plus 2, you can delay this, and it has a huge delay window. So it's really up to you. Okay? So I don't personally use this. I will actually put it in C. So I'm sorry if you like this move. I hate this move. Next is RDS2. So this one, I don't see it as a jab. It's very safe, actually. The only, yeah, but it's very sidesteppable, and it's still a high, right? So I just use this after RDS3 because I want to stay in RDS while being plus 6. It's okay if you go with RDS3 and then RDS2 1, that's fine. But with me, sometimes I do the RDS2 because, like I said, I need a plus 6. So, other than that, I don't really have a usage for this. But I do like this in combos, even if it is the most boring combo filler ever. I am an avid believer of comfort over style. So, it's better for me to be more comfortable with my combos rather than having the stylish ones. I only do optimal combos when it's about to kill. So for this one, I'll put it on a lower B. There you go. It cost me a lot of rounds. Okay? Next is RDS 2-1. So this is guaranteed after a counter hit down back 2 or a regular or counter hit RDS 3. And you can transition to hip by holding your B. So just take note that when transitioning to hypnotist with any move or string that puts you to hypnotist, it won't have a parry, so you need to manually input another 1 plus 2 in order for you to get that very strict hip parry. I use this as a good wall carry. For example, RDS 1-2 is just too close to the wall. I rarely go to Hypnotist with RDS 2-1 just because it is kind of bugged. So I don't. You can go to Changbang's Twitter and you can see there why it is bugged. Other than that, I don't want to go for the Hypnotist. I'd rather have that +6 front facing rather than +11, but I'm on Hypnotist. I only have like 5 moves or 6 in Hypnotist, but with front facing, I can do so much more with that +6. So up to you if you want to go to the Hypnotist. I don't. This is very safe. It's jailing, so you can just try to blurt it out and you'll be safe. So for this one, I'll put it beside RDS2. So maybe just like that. Next is RDS 214, and this was a very good wall carry back in the earlier installments of the game, but in this one, it's kind of meh. It's better if you go for RDS 2-1 or RDS 1-2. But yeah, it's still a wall carry. It's similar to full crouch 3-2-1-4. This one, I tend to delay it. I don't use this when RDS 3 hits. I use it out of nowhere. If the RDS 2-1 has a red line, and that's a counter hit, you can then press your 4 and it will be guaranteed. So this one, I would rather risk this than going to Hypnotist, like all day. So for this one, I'll put this beside RDS 2 and RDS 2-1. It will be in a very low B. RDS 221. So this is a very good string. It gives a decent amount of pushback on block, and on hit it will put you to while standing if you just tap it like RDS 221. But if you hold down, you will go to AOP. Now, I prefer the while standing version for this one, and I was really sad that it's not a natural combo anymore, but I get why they did it. So, but this is a natural combo still on counter hit, so this is still good for me. It's very safe, and it if you hold your down and you absorb a power crush, just continue with AOP UF3. So yeah, this is actually one of my favorite moves or strings, basically. So I'll put this in. I'm gonna be biased here. I'm gonna put this in middle A. It has so many uses, and I hope you can get the uses of it in your own playstyle. So yeah. Also, this was very popular back in Second Six. So I hope they kind of have a good buff for it next season. But let's see. RDS 3. Now this one, at first I really hated the change because I preferred the knockdown, but now that I played season 2 a lot, I learned to like it. And the guaranteed RDS 2-1, RDS Dick Jab, or the RDS back 3 was very good as well. So on regular or counter hit, this is actually +12. There are 3 instances that you can do with this. So one, you could do RDS 2-1 after, and you'll get +6 at front facing. When you just do RDS2, like I mentioned earlier, you will still be in RDS and you will enjoy the +6 again. But with that +12, you can do a slower move, let's say an instant while standing 3, or maybe a transition, or maybe a hop throw, because that +12 is a lot. You will only be able to have that benefit in RDS. So you can try so much with that +12. Remember that. You don't need to go for RDS2 or RDS2-1 every time. So for this one, I'll put this in a high B. Okay, let's see in season 3 if they will keep it. And next is RDS 3+4, which I don't use that much, but I think I should. It's a really good low crush actually, but it doesn't give me benefit on hit. But it's still a good move in with that information. Decent amount of pushback even if it's -16. So for this one, when it gets blocked, just try to block your opponent's move or just try to RDS CB. -16 is a lot, and that's a lot of recovery time. There are some Okis at the wall for this. The trick is to just use it after, let's say, F2 1 neutral 2. When your opponent tries to wake up low or wake up mid kick, it has a potential to whiff. Just try it. I'm not really sure. If this one hits grounded on season 3, I think I would use it more. So I hope they find a use for this. So yeah, for this one, I'll put this in a low C. I'd still use it, but not that much. I'm still a hater of APT1. So yeah. Next is RDS 4. So this is one of her iconic moves, but it's really unsafe. So this one is a very fast RDS launcher. It's 13, but it's minus 18, like I said. So this one will hit grounded. So if you see Xiaoyu players do RDS 2 and then RDS 4 as a combo ender, it's because it's unscaled and it is guaranteed unless they do a hop kick. Now, this one, when you dance a lot and you know that you'll be in RDS, this is the best launcher that you could go for. But other than that, this is for me, it's a very situational move. You can trick your enemy to crouch or maybe sidestep. This has a slight good tracking, but the thing is, let's say you go for down back 2 and then you tend to go RDS D3 a lot. The next time you do that, you could try your RDS 4. That is the only time when it is a good risk. Or let's say frame wise, you think that you'll be faster. Okay, so there are a lot of things to consider when is the right time to use RDS 4. But yeah, those are the things that I am personally doing in order for me to properly execute RDS 4. So this one, I'll put this in a low B, maybe middle B. There you go. RDS back 1 plus 2, it's a new move or a season 2 move, and it's a power crush. It's unsafe, it's kind of launchable with some characters, and I rarely use this, even in minus. But there are only a few times that I use this. I use this after my while setting 1-4 gets blocked, because some of you might go for the Sabaki or the parry, but the reason why I do that is because it will kind of absorb slower moves like launchers. And the thing is, for example, a hop kick. With a hop kick, I can't parry that. But with a power crush with a back turned B1 plus 2, I can potentially absorb that or counter that. That is a very specific situation for me to use it. Other than that, I don't use this as a combo ender. I don't use this out of the blue. However, sometimes I actually use this on plus. For some reason, I don't know why. It works on me, but it's not safe for me, so I don't really use it that much. So for this one, I'll put this in a low D. Artist D1 plus 3. So for this one, this is actually her back turned low parry. I use this with LoL players. They have a lot of low something launchers. But other than that, I use this actually as a while standing transition by holding and tapping down. You will get what I mean when you do it. And to transition to neutral in a much more stylish way, I guess. So, and it's kind of faster. It's not really that safer than just doing RDS back, but I use it because it will make me more finicky. Okay? This one, I'll put this in high C. Next is RDS D3. So this one is a low move. It has an extension, which you can delay, but we will discuss more about that in that section. This one, I use this like a minimum of 10 times per match. It's just that good. It's plus 7C. Remember that if you see the letter C, it means that it will put your enemy to crouch. So basically, you're putting them to plus 7 and you're limiting their moves as well. So this one has a decent amount of range and it has a lot of mix-up potential. This is actually an easy S. It's actually, let's say, top 2. I don't know what my top one is, but it will change later. But yeah, it's that good of a move. You can spam it. Don't be afraid of the minus 12. Just use it, okay? Of course, we have the RDS down 3-4. So it's just minus 5 on block. But the thing is, it's not jailing. So after RDS D3, they can still crouch and it will whiff. So this one can be delayed, like I said earlier. On counter hit, if the first hit is a counter hit, your second input is guaranteed. But if only the 4 is a counter hit, then it will kind of throw them away, and you can have a guaranteed 3 plus 4 or UB4. This one, I delay it so much in the fight, mostly when the match is about to end. Because let's say your opponent has, let's say, 20% health or 10% health. That's where the time that they will be tempted to kind of mash. So if they block it, that's fine. But when you delay it, it has a potential to be a counter hit. So in that way, you can have a free 3 plus 4, like I said, and they will get hit because of that. Now, if you hit them with a counter hit and it's kind of near the wall, then it will become a launcher. So go ahead and use your tornado or your best wall combo. So this one, if RDS D3 is top one, this is actually very situational. I don't recommend using this a lot in neutral unless it's the delayed version. And also in combos, this is a good combo filler, but it's up to you if you still want to use it as a combo filler, okay? I use it a lot, but I don't really commit to the Micro Dash UB3 that much because I don't want to cost my round. For this one, I'll put this in a middle B. Now this is RDS down 3 plus 4, or what you call the spinner. Doesn't have any properties. This is a dance. But actually, there are a lot of Xiaoyu players that use this. I personally don't. It doesn't fit my playstyle. But if you're a dancey character, then this one is much stronger than the regular D3 plus 4. For this one, I'll put this in a low C. RDS down 4 is our Hell Sweep with Xiaoyu. It has a very negative 26 and it will knock your opponent down. You will be put in crouch, so you need to crouch cancel if you want the 3 plus 4 follow up. But if you're not that confident, then you can go for the UB4 follow up. This one, I hate that this is very bugged. Its clean hit property is very bugged. So just know that you will be -1 on regular hit, but on counter or clean hit, then you will get the knockdown. So take note that this is very bugged. That's all I can say for this. Other than that, this is still a good low move. I partner this a lot with Sidestep or a Taunt, but I am realizing now that they are countering that, so I need to change that. So this one is still a good move. Back then in season 1, it's a combo starter because it's a tornado on hit. But for this one, I'll still put this in a high B. Maybe before AOP. Yeah, there you go. Next is RDS DB4. This doesn't deal any damage. Now the thing is, you're using this for the plus advantage. It is plus on hit, plus on block, but plus 14 on counter hit. Take note that your standing 3, even though it's 14, it will not hit them. So it's really up to you if you want to go for the heat engager or the DF2 extensions. I personally go for the B41 because I use that outside the wall or near the wall. So it will benefit me more than thinking, oh, I need to use DF2 3. That's more damage. I don't care. I would go for B41 for that purpose. For this one, I'll put this in a low A. Next is the Sabaki or RDS Forward 1 plus 2. So this one, I only use this. It's kind of slow. It's 23. I could have just used an RDS D3 or D4 for that plus 20 for that 23 frames. But yeah, there are only specific situations that I use this, namely after Cali roll or AOP 1-4. But other than that, it's very slow, doesn't have a counter hit property or anything like that. This is a very situational move, so I'll put this in a low C. Maybe after RDS D3 plus 4. Next is the RDS homing throw. So this one has 3 inputs. I will discuss them in one clip. So it's the RDS F2 plus 3 for the waning moon, RDS F1 plus 3 for a throw version. This is what you're looking at. And the other version is RDS F2 plus 4. So basically, let's talk about the throw mix-up first. So all of the animations of those 3 are similar or literally the same. Now, the thing is, that is very much a 50-50 on its own if it hits or if you throw the enemy. Before you execute this, you need to have a thinking on what your enemy will input to break it. If you feel that they will input 1 plus 2, then of course you would go for the 1 or 2 option. But if you think that you can waning moon them, then go ahead. Now for the cancel, I use this more on Oki, and it's always while sending 2. Don't worry about getting the jab, just do the move. Okay? So this one is very good against Yoshi players or people that sidestep a lot, namely Alyssa or Lily players. I'm actually very glad that they brought back the homing property of it. So because of that, I'll put this in the S. Low S. We'll rearrange it later. Next is the Cali roll without kick. So that is RDS F3 plus 4. So this is a dance move. So I don't actually use this to dance because I always get clipped. But I see a lot of other Xiaoyu players that use this sort of like a misstep from Lee. So if you can execute that well, then go ahead. I'm not one of those. However, I use this a lot with setups. So this one has a good angle manipulation in some way because even if you will end in RDS, there are some situations that you will end in front facing. So that changes a lot with the playstyle. So for this one, I'll put this in C. So next one is the real Cali roll, and it's the RDS 4 3 plus 4 3 plus 4. So this one is, even if you see it like 12, it's not really 12 frames. So just take note of that because you still have the roll. So the kick is the 12 frames, the roll is not. So now this one, I don't spam this as much. I only use it with awkward situations. Okay. So if I got hit in RDS and I was put in a very awkward state, then I will execute it. But out of the open, I don't. I really don't. So this is also a high crush move and a semi mid crush move. So for this one, I'll put this in middle B. Next is RDS 4 4 3 plus 4. And this will become a throw with the right angle, and it is plus on block. It's not actually plus 4. It depends on the active frame. This has so many active frames. So like I said earlier, it will depend on what active frame it will hit. But most of the time you'll be at a plus. So and most of the time you will be at plus 3. So take note of that. So you can go to crouch by holding down with this one. So this is a good move, a very evasive move, and it's very, do you know the Mirana arrow in Dota or the Ash arrow? It has that effect. So most likely your opponent won't be able to react to this even though it's very slow. It's also a combo starter. Now this one, actually Kabi taught me this and I've been spamming it ever since. This one is actually a high S. But let's put it at the last. I'm still not sure. Okay, so next one is RDS UF1. So this one, it will put your enemy to crouch, and it is a plus 12. You will have a guaranteed AOP 4 after the hits, and if it's in a good angle. Now, this one can be cancelled as well to while standing. Now, there are a lot of Xiaoyu players that do the RDS UF1 setup that will put them to plus 13, and then you will have a guaranteed AOP to 1. I never did it in this game. Tekken 7, yes, because it's easy, and this one is very situational, and it's not guaranteed all the time. I prefer to have a setup that will put me to a less worse situation rather than I am stuck with AOP and I am just negative 7 on block. Remember that being negative in AOP is much more, and it's not just minus 7. Okay? So for this one, I still use this. This is a very good. This has a very good follow up, which is the AOP4, and that plus from the AOP4 is a lot. Like it won me so many games. I'll put this in a middle A. Next is down one. So this has two options. Either you go to the while standing state, or you could go for the AOP. I tend to use while sending state more, but I only go for the AOP option if I absorb a power crush. Now, it has a decent amount of pushback on block. So take note of that, and it will put your enemy to crouch on hit, by the way. So also, this one has a lot of active frames, making it a very good keep out move. So just release it anytime and anywhere, let's say, or even if even in a very far distance, you will see that your opponent will hesitate to move. So use that hesitation to your advantage. You can let out another down one, and then you go aggressive or something like that. Also, I use this a lot with Oki at the wall, and I just have personal uses for this. So just try to use it, okay? So again, I go for the while standing option more. So for this one is an easy S, maybe top 6, let's say. Let's put it here. There you go. Next is Xiaoyu's iconic AOP, and that is down 1 plus 2. I use this like a minimum of, let's say, 30 times per round, not per match. So I don't use it to intentionally evade. That is one of the mistakes that I see a lot of Xiaoyu players doing. They care so much about evading it, but they are basically expecting it to happen. Okay? So it's very natural for you to expect a whiff for this one, but if you rely on it, that, oh, okay, if I do D1 plus 2 every time, I will evade everything. No. So I only use this in conjunction to doing D1 plus 2. I use this when a certain angle is manipulated or I have a certain pushback. I have a good, let's say, minus or even a plus. This is just a stance, so I don't really need to talk about it that much. But of course, D1 plus 2 is her iconic stance. It's also considered a move because it will create whiffs. So let's put it at top 1. Next is just down 3, and this is a very fast low. Don't be deceived with its short range. It actually has a decent one. Not as good as RDS D3, but it's good enough that it will reach your enemy, like in this video clip. It's reaching Kazuya with a certain range or decent range, let's say. I use this as an under. So, for example, it's the fight is close, then I need a very kind of unreactable low. And after my mid or my high gets blocked, or I get a plus, let's say after while standing 3, then I will use this move. So for this one, I'll put this in a low B. Maybe there. Next is D3-4. So it's very safe on block, but the thing is, the string is not jailing, but it will be a natural combo and counter hit. But the thing is, a lot of people duck this, okay? So for me, I just use this when the battle is about to end and I know that the enemy has a potential to mash. So let's say the timer is like 2 seconds or their health is like, I don't know, maybe 15% health. That is the time that I will use this. This has a potential to wall splat on the side, so take note of that. But other than that, I don't really use this move that much. It's very unsafe, okay? I don't care if it's like 0, it's very unsafe. So if you find a use for this, then you do you, okay? So for this, I will put this in a low C. And I meant D3-4, sorry. There you go. Next is down 3 plus 4. And as you can see, this is a dance move. And I use this to wait for the enemy to wake up. So it also makes you kind of unpredictable. I always tell this to my students. If you use a certain type of movement, let's say a dance, a transition, even a sidestep, it will become a different move. So let's say you do D3. If you do down 3 plus 4 and then D3, that is a different move. Okay, you'll get me someday. And also, this also takes a bit of time. This will create a lot of time for your enemy to wake up. I also always tell my students to always wait for your enemy to wake up. You need to respect that because that's how your Oki will work. Okay? So for this one, I'll put this in middle B. Next is down 4. This is kind of like a universal move. I don't use this. But if, for example, I misinput it and I use it, I tend to go for AOP after it. It will evade a lot of moves. So other than that, I don't really use it. So I'll just use it in the C. I know a lot of Xiaoyu players use this as well, but it's not just for me. Next is down back one, and it's one of her iconic moves as well. But I'm not a fan of this specific singular move because I know it's the same frame with DB2, but I would love that potential +5 from the DB2 or +12 if it's a counter hit. But this one, if you hit it, then it will knock down the enemy. If you have heat, then it will become a heat engager. It will be at +9, but on block it will give you a -9. But the thing is, the good thing about this one, I'm kind of successful whenever I use it. It will give you a decent amount of pushback. So go to the pushback guide in my channel and you will see what I mean. But for this one, I'll put this in high C. It still has good usage, but it's not something that I would personally use to win a fight. So let's put that in high C. Next is down back 2, and this will put your enemy to crouch, and you will have +5. On counter hit, they won't go to crouch, but you'll be at +12, and you have a guaranteed RDS 2-1. However, I don't use the RDS 2-1 follow up. I use that +12 to execute other RDS moves. So it's -8 on block, but the good thing is they will be put to crouch. So feel free to go for a parry or a power crush there. Also, for this one, it also has a good tracking on one side, and I think that's SSL if I recall. I think DF1 is the SSR. So this one, you can literally compare this to Dragunov's down 2. It's that good. Don't be afraid to get blocked. Don't be afraid to get parried. Just use this and enjoy your +5. So again, this will put your enemy to +5C. Crouch. That's a, an insane amount of limitation for your enemy. So also, I use this for Oki because it will pancake flip them when they're on the ground. And it's actually one of her best moves. Actually, it's her best move for me. So I'll put that in the top one, and that will not change until later. I'm very confident with that. Next is a down back 3, and this is very similar to RDS DB4, and I don't have that much to say, but this one is on neutral. I partner it with a plus. So for example, I get while standing 3+3, I will use this in order for me to continue my plus. So again, if it's a counter hit, I tend to do back for 1 than doing the DF2 extensions. But if you can confirm it, then go ahead. Okay, so this one, I'll put this in the same uh, lane with RDS DB4, and I'll put this beside it. Next is down back 4, and this will put your enemy to crouch, and you'll be at +4. And I don't use this for because it's like down back 3, which will give you +14 on counter hit. So basically, your DF2 extensions and before 1 will be guaranteed. But the thing is, I don't use it for that purpose. I use this for the pushback that it gives you when your opponent gets hit. So with that amount of pushback, you can just backdash and wait for your opponents to execute a move that will whiff, and then just simply launch them. Okay? So this one, it's kind of situational, but I still like it. I would put this in middle B. Next is DF1. So this one, I don't know if you guys know Melos, but Melos was my first enemy in Manila Madness. So I will be uploading a video about that. But this is the only tip that Melos gave me, and that was a lead player. Because I was beaten so bad. And he shared one of the pro players that basically killed his Lee, and that was a Xiaoyu player. So he said to spam this move. And then I used a version of that. I used down back 2 instead of DF1. But the thing is, a basic move, if you spam it enough, you will be able to mind control your enemy. Because he said that that Xiaoyu player was doing stuff, was doing DF1, and then out of nowhere, that pro player will just go for hop kick after the DF1. So I'm starting to implement it more. It has a good tracking on the right side, if I recall. I hope I'm correct. And you could go to RDS or the front facing stance with this. Now, this one is one of her iconic moves as well, and it is a high crush as well. So for this one, I'm studying to spam it, and how can I implement it in my playstyle, like what Melo said. Because right now I'm only doing it with down back two. But for this one, I'll put this in a high A. So let's put it that. Maybe it will change when my DF1 gets optimized when I'm playing Xiaoyu. So let's see. Next is the hypnotist stance. So for this one, there are a lot of notes here, but I will just make it simple. I use this for combos. I use this as a round start for people that like to jab or like to do DF1s or something like that. But other than that, I am not a fan of the hypnotist playstyle in the vanilla format. I would rather use this as a form of Oki rather than use it for neutral. So this one, it's a stance, so it's kind of like D1 plus 2 earlier, but for this one, I'll put this in a middle B. Let's put it that way. There you go. So it's a stance. If you know how to use a hip, then you know when to execute the hip. That's all I can say. Next is just DF2. So this one, I don't use it as a singular move. I see players use this. Maybe Yoreds is doing this at just single hit, but I'm not. But I see why he does it. One, it will condition your enemy to duck or just block. And also, the DF2 extensions are all delayable. Okay, they are natural combos, but if you delay it too much, it will not become a natural combo. So take note of that. But for DF2 alone, I'll put this in low B. I'm not sure if I will implement it more in my playstyle, but let's see. Next is down forward to 1 plus 2, and this is a season 2 move. It's minus 14 in block, but its purpose is for your opponents that is ducking the DF2 3, or they're expecting the high option. So now this is the better wall splat move rather than DF2 3, simply because if you hit the enemy on back turn with this one, it will splat them, but with down forward 2 3, it will put them knocked down. So like I said, this is a better wall splat move. It is still minus 14. I hope it's actually safer. But I will put this in a middle A. Now this one is down for a 2-3. So this is the high extension of the DF2, and it can be cancelled. Okay, and you will be put to while standing if you cancel it with down. Now, this one will put us just only -1, so it's very good for frame trapping. I also use a transition for this a lot, even on hit. If you can hit confirm it, then go ahead. It also has a decent amount of pushback, so take note of that, but it can be ducked. But that is the start of the layering or the manipulation for the strings. So this one is also a good wall carry. It's very hard to wall carry with this one, but it also provides a decent amount of range. Let's put it that way. So this one, I'll put this in a high B. And I meant DF2 3. Sorry, 3. Next is Dragonfall or down forward 2 plus 4. So I think a lot of Xiaoyu throws will put your enemy to back turned and knockdown. So this is also one of them. But I use this to floor splat or to floor break or floor blast, and it also has a good damage, and it will only be broken with the 2 inputs since it's a command grab. This is an easy A, but let's put it in the middle. Now we have the snake edge or the down forward 3. So I only have a few moments with this, but it won me rounds. So first is to start up. I tend to use this whenever I get or I have the momentum at round start, and also I use it when my opponent is very blocky with mids and highs, and if you're still not confident that it will hit, then you can cancel it. Canceling it by doing the back input will put you to RDS, of course, and then you can mix that up. So you could go for another low or maybe an RDS homing throw or something like that. In my personal playstyle, it still works as long as you have enough time for this to be scary. As Xiaoyu, you need to be scary, you need to be layering a lot in order for your down forward 3 to work. If you let this out in the vanilla, you will get blocked each time. Okay? I'll put this in B. Okay, next is down forward 4. So this one, you might think that it's a good startup move because it's only I-12. In some battles, yes, or in some specific opponents, but not with everyone. The reason for it is because it's very linear. It's very linear on both sides. So at startup, I'd rather have a better tracking move rather than this. It is fast. However, on hit or on block, this has a good pushback potential, so you can have some whiff creation things going in there. If you can't make your opponent not sidestep, I prefer you not to use this. But if you can, then go on. I have my own ways of not making the enemy sidestep, but each and one of us are different in doing that. So for this one, I would put it in the C tier. Let's go to the mid tier. I hope they make it kind of tracking, but right now it's this low. It has its uses, but it's a really bad move, even if it's fast. Next is forward, forward 3, or while running 3. So this one is a good low crush move, and it's a good move to actually do when your opponent is on the ground and they are kind of waking up. You can have a lot of Oki options when it misses or when it hits. Also, this tracks a little bit on the left, if I recall. I hope I'm correct. But yeah, you can on block or on hit, this has its benefits. I prefer to use this as sort of like an Oki. But if, for example, I have an opponent that is kind of blocky, then I will tend to use this because I want to be at +7. Now, take note that you will be +7 on AOP. Remember that. So, +7 is a really good plus with AOP moves. So it's either you go for an AOP move, let's say that is kind of slow because you want to have that benefit of the +7, or you could go for something like an AOP F4 that will still put you in AOP. This is a god tier move actually, so it's the greatest addition to Xiaoyu, at least for me. So yeah, it's a great launcher. In some cases, it's steppable. So the remedy for that is you would go for something like a running F4 or a running B1 plus 2. F4 is homing, B1 plus 2 is tracking on both sides. So you can try to mix that up. Oh, for example, I am doing a while running 3, but then I will use a tracking or a homing move instead. So for this one, I'll put this in the S tier. So let's put it at top 5 actually. So there you go. Next are the FF1 extensions, and we're going to start with FF1. So with FF1, you can transition to AOP by pressing down, and you will get a +13 in there. So basically, your I-12 AOP move is AOP 4, and your I-13 move in AOP is AOP 2-1. So both of those will be guaranteed as long as the distance is good. FF13 is, a mid-high extension. This is a great pressuring tool because it will put your enemy to +1 only, and you can have a lot of frame traps there. So a frame trap that you could try is FF13. If they block it, then go for F1 plus 2. So, but they can still duck it. This is sort of like a knowledge check type of move. Be careful in using it. Some people duck it. By the way, we will be talking about FF14 because that is a different thing. But for this one, be careful in using this. Okay, have a good feeling or a good read to your enemy if they will duck it or not. So if not, then enjoy your -1. Okay, -1 is still okay. Okay, remember that. So now I'll put this in a low middle B. Let's put it middle B. Next is forward forward 1-4. So this is like one of the end game moves for Xiaoyu, and the reason why I'm saying that is this move is being blocked, let's say in the low ranks and kind of high ranks, but in high level play, this is where you will actually start to use it because a lot of enemies will know that FF13 is a high, so they tend to duck it. Now, this is another string conditioning move, but this will only work in the high level. A very situational move. It's a good launcher. It's like standing 3 and hip 3 plus 4, but it's a very unreliable string in the low ranks. So I tend to not use this that much. But the thing is, it's still a great move. It's still a great launcher once you set it up. So for this one, I'll put this in a middle C. Let's put it there. Next is forward forward 1 plus 2 1 plus 2 or XMTS or X marks the spot. So this is a great string. You can do this in the while standing. It will have the same startup. Now remember, even if this is an I-14 move, when you're doing your FF with the input, you are creating frames there or inputting frames there. So basically, this is not a reliable I-14 Punisher or a -14 Punisher. However, if you block something, let's say Eddie's running low, which is -14 on block, then when you input it from while standing, then it will become an I-14. Okay? Now, this is a natural combo. It's one of the stronger natural combos for Xiaoyu. And also, you can delay it. If you delay it, then you will have a potential to have a counter hit launcher. So now, for example, the first hit whiffs, you can then input it another time, and it will be a potential CH launcher. Now, if for example, your first hit is a counter hit, and your second hit follows it up, it won't be a launcher. Okay? But other than that, this is a great, great, great potential CH launcher, a great string, great move, only -8 on block, you'll be safe. So this one, I'll put this in a high A. Let's put it beside the F1. Next one is forward forward 2. So I made this separate with FF21 because I want to discuss it a little bit before I go to FF21. This is a good I-15 dash move. It's a good Oki as well, and it has great pushback on block and on hit. So now this is also one of my panic moves when I have a weird combo starter. So because it will kind of float your enemy a little bit in the ground, so I have that much momentum than doing other moves, let's say like F2. So if you need some time, then you can go ahead and try this as a combo filler, at least at the start of the combo. So yeah, so that's my usage of FF2. So for this one, I'll put this in a low B. Very situational. Next is FF21. So this was my favorite move back then in Tekken 6 BR. But now there are a lot of better moves that's been added to Xiaoyu ever since. So this one is a great. It's still a great move. It's a natural combo. You can delay it, but it won't be a natural combo anymore if you delay it. Now you can also go to the back turned. But for this one, I prefer to use it as sort of like a dash natural combo rather than something that I would dance with. The reason for that is you'll be so minus when you do your FF2 and it gets blocked, and then you try to transition to RDS, you'll be at like -16 or -18. So it's like it will have its moments. It's kind of slow. Compare it to something similar like AOP 21B. That is a different story. But for this one, I'll put this in. I want to put it on B, but okay, let's put it on C. No, middle C. There you go. Next is 443 or Raccoon Swing. So back then on Tekken 7, and below. When you counter hit this, you will have a guaranteed RDS 4. Now you will have plus 12 guard, double advantage. So, but this is still a good keep out going in move. You know what I mean? So it's like it's one of the best converting moves as well. And it will have a good pushback on hit or on block. Even if your opponent blocks this, you can still go for an RDS CB to create some whiffs. And then you can mix that up. Let's say you're not going to do RDS DB anymore. Let's say you're going to go for a throw or something like that. So this is a great conditioning tool. And it's actually one of her iconic moves as well. It's been introduced since Second 3. And ever since, it's a very, very recognizable move for Xiaoyu. So yeah, don't be afraid to spam this. It is a kind of linear move, but it won't stop it from being a good poke. For this one, I'll put this in the S. I know that I have a lot of S right now, but I will rearrange that later. I will put some moves at the A tier when I finish this list. Next is forward forward 3 plus 4. So this one, I use this a lot when I'm battling a king. The reason for that is king has a great heat smash, a long range heat smash rather, and then it's a great move to just go outside your enemy's range, and it will luckily whiff. Okay, the reason for that is I reported something like that and it didn't whiff, so I hope they fixed it. But yeah, compared to RDS FF3 plus 4, this will give you minus, and but it will also depend on the active frame. So sometimes you will be at -2, sometimes you'll be at -1, and so on. If this was plus, then I'll put this in the S, like no doubt. But since it will give me minus, I will put this, let's say, in a low or middle B. Okay, let's put it in middle B. Again, if this was plus, I will put this in the S, like RDS FF3 plus 4. Next is forward forward 4. So you might think that this is a homing move, but it's not. This was a move that was extracted from the old RDS 1.4. This one will give you +9, however, it will put you on hip. Okay? So basically, you will only have like 4 or 5 moves there that will benefit from the +9. If this whiffs, it won't go to Hypnotist, so take note of that. So this one is a good pressure tool as long as you make your opponent not sidestep. This is also a good potential CH launcher. So you will have all the benefits when you hit this. So if it gets blocked, you will get +9. If it gets hit, you'll get +13. If it's a CH launcher, then you will have your free combo starter in there. Now this one is also a good tailspin, kind of like a good tailspin. It's not really the best. Now it is one of the moves that I am trying to make it work right now. But yeah, right now it's still a good move. I'll put this in the low A just because of the many benefits it will have. However, it's still high and it's kind of slow. So a lot of enemies actually duck it. So wait, why did I put this in? Okay, there you go. Low A. So yeah, a lot of opponents stuck this in the high level for some reason. So yeah, you can say it's kind of reactable. However, it's still a good plus. Next is forward 1 plus 2. So forward 1 plus 2 is sort of like a tackle. So it's our I-12 Punisher. Now this is not as good as Fang's. It's I can treat it like a high for some reason. I don't know why. It's not as good as Fang. Fang has like the full body tackle, while Xiaoyu has like a shoulder tackle. Even if this is -16, a lot of enemies don't actually punish this for some reason. I personally use this for frame traps and as combo enders in some situations, and let's say after a heat dash. But outside of that, this is very steppable, very kind of linear even if it's fast. So it's in a similar situation with DF4. It has its uses, but it's still a very linear move. I believe you can sidestep this with the right side. So yeah, just remember that. Now, this one, even with those many things that I have said, I'll put this in a middle A. It's a great it's still a great tackle, but yeah, for my playstyle, it doesn't really work that much. Next is F2. So it looks like a high, but it's actually mid. But this one, I tend to use this as a string conditioning tool and as something like a poke. So I treat it like an FF3 in some way, and sometimes only use a singular string input because I'll be safe. And like I said, I use this as a form or as an attack for layering with my strings. So it's still a good. It has a good poke damage 12 and great combo filler. But again, remember that it will manipulate the angle of you and your enemy, combo or not. So take note of that. This is one of my favorite moves that I'm inputting now, but I'll put this in the top A, let's say, at least for now. So now we are at the F2 one. So F2 one is a J-Ling string. So the second hit is a high, so it's a mid-high string. So if your mid hit whiffs, they can duck the high string input. If you want to transition with hip, then you can just hold your B, and it will have a different minus and a different advantage if it hits or not. Now, I don't go to the hip stance similar with the reason of one down to B. Okay? I prefer to have my plus or minus in the neutral rather than the hip stance. Because in hip stance, yes, I will have a lot of plus frames, but I am limited to what I can do. It's a good wall carry as well. It's one of the main wall carries. So this one I'll put this in uh, similar to F2, but maybe after it. Okay, so the reason for it is because of the jailing property, which I always will like, and you should too. Next is F214. So this is a mid-high mid. So I'm actually using this a lot lately as a wall carry, as a string conditioning tool, and as a potential CH launcher. If you continue this string, it will hit tracking on both sides. But if you try to delay it, it will not track as good compared to when you continue the string. Just be wary that this is a very complicated wall carry. I'd rather you have more experience first rather than using this as a wall carry. This is one of the stronger wall carries if you execute it the right way. I really like this string. I'll put this in a high A. Actually, every F2 variation is good. Now I'll put this behind F2. They're like a family. They're that good. Next is Waning Moon or F2 plus 3. So Waning Moon is her throw launcher in this game. So it's actually a good one. And I tend to not finish this as it's a great way to get some Oki. Whatever combo you do outside the wall, this will always put your enemy on their back turned state. So you can have a lot of Okis there because their wake up options are limited. In the vanilla, I don't usually use this. I only use this maybe when I know that they're not gonna sidestep. This is very sidesteppable, by the way. It's not a homing move, but sometimes it kind of tracks. But yeah. So also this is side swap. For this one, I'll put this in A. Next is F31, and this is her knee string, and it's a mid mid. So this one is a good conditioning tool like F21, but it's much more than that. It will put you to RDS, and when you're in RDS and you execute this move, you'll be at +8. Now the thing is that +8 can be used for your RDS moves, or you can go for another type of movement. Let's say a sidestep. RDS sidestep is always buffed. Remember that. So now when you do this, you can also go to just press back and then go to the front. It's also a way of conditioning. As simple as it may sound, it's a good way to condition your opponent. So with this one, try to use it a lot in the neutral. This is a great combo filler as well, and it's a great converting move. So if you accidentally floated an enemy, this is a great way to float them in order for you to continue the combo. So this one, I'll put this in S, low S. There you go. Next is F311 plus 2. So this is a great string for combos as well if you try to finish your combos, and also it has a good tracking. Let's say, for example, your F31 misses for some reason in a combo, then just execute your 1 plus 2, and when they wake up, it will kind of track well. This is the safer option for the F314, which is like minus 1 million. So this one is only minus 12, but it is still punishable. But if you don't want to get launched, then yes, there are 12 frame wall splat moves, but it's better than going for F314. Now, the thing is, I rarely use this because F314 is that better of a risk rather than doing this. So I'd rather have a risk that I will get a combo launcher out of F314 than getting punished with an I-12 and below move or being minus 12. So now I'll put this in a low B, maybe bottom B. That's fair. Next is F314. And this is a great, like I said earlier, it's a great potential launcher if your opponent tries to do anything. Okay, so if they try to hit you with anything, let's say a dick jab or something like that, they will get hit. Now, there are some characters that can counter this, and that is, for example, Eddie. Eddie can go for the side punch thingy, and you will get hit instead. But other than that, a lot of enemies, even in the high ranks, are getting caught by this, and I can understand that. Then once you execute this move, it's either you will add an additional layer to your enemy, or they will get launched every time. So for example, you're doing F314 the first time, you can do F31 the next time, and then you'll just execute an RDS throw. So something like that. So this one, I'll put this in middle A. I am spamming this move, not in a mashy way, but I know it's still unsafe. So it's still a risky move. I'll put this in the A. Now F3, 3 plus 4. So this is a kind of like a dancey move, but what you're looking for using this is the plus 8. So on block, it's, plus 8. On hit, it will be a knockdown. On counter hit, there's no counter hit property for this. So what you're looking for is a plus 8. Now take note that you're not going to be in the while standing state. You'll be in the standing state. So enjoy your plus 8. That's all I can say. This one, I'll put this in a low B because it's still a very situational move. It's similar to AOP F3 plus 4, 3 plus 4. So let's put it in beside that. Also, this is a very risky move, so make sure that your opponent is scared of you first. Next is F4, and this is a slow but good slow type of move, and it's a homing move. And on hit, you'll get plus 13. So your F1 plus 2 and your B4 1 are guaranteed depending on what you want to happen. So as long as they're also in range, by the way. So this one is one of the better keep out tools. My favorite keep out tool is D1, but this one has sort of its slow animation is what makes it good. So by the time your enemy comes in, they will try to execute a move, and then with that specific moment, your F4 will hit. So this is still a high, but you'll get a benefit of plus 1 if it gets blocked. So it's still good either way. So try to use this a lot with Paul and Lily players. Thank me later. Okay? So this one, I'll put this. Next is FC3. This is a great move, actually. So I'm surprised not a lot of Xiaoyu players are doing it like when they are put to crouch. It has kind of like a good tracking property to it, and you'll be surprised how many rounds I've won because of this specific move. Just one, not the whole string, because this is a complete string. This has a complete string, but I tend to use the single hit because I'll put you into a situation. Try this in your next match. When they heat burst and you're put to crouch, they tend to sidestep. When you try that, it will hit on both sides. So this is a great round ender, actually. So I know it's still slow. It's an I-15 low move, but it's a great obscure and subtle move. And similar to F4, its slow property is what makes it good. Okay? So yeah, try to do this as an ender when they heat burst or when you are in crouch and it's the end of the round or it's a killing move. So don't be afraid with the -4 on hit and the -15 on block. Don't be afraid of that. So for this one, even though I like the move, I'll put this in the B. I think it's still kind of like a very situational move, but again, it won me rounds like a lot. Next is full crouch 3-2. This one, I use the string, well, as it is. It's not jailing, by the way, so your opponent can duck it. But I use this when I want to go to RDS. You have a lot of things that are happening when you do the FC3. If you do FC3, you'll be -4, but you'll be in the while standing state. If you do FC32, you'll be in the RDS state. If you do FC321, you'll be in the neutral state. And we'll talk about that string later. But this one, still good on hit or on block. But a lot of enemies are actually ducking this, like on reaction. So be careful of it. If you try to make this string work, either execute a movement or something like an RDS throw, which is like an I-12. You'll be 0 on block. So basically, a good move that is a good risk as well is the RDS throw because that's only 12 frames. Okay, so this one I'll put this in a middle B. Oh, I don't have I don't have FC321 and FC32. So let's talk about the other strings as well. So FC321, again, this is a string if you want to go to the neutral stance. If you want to make this work, you are looking for the counter hit property of the second RDS hit or the third input. So when you see that counter hit line, then you go for the FC3214. So which is this move. It's a good risk. You can go to hip after FC321, but like I said, I don't do it that much. I tend to do more FC3214. It's a potential launcher. Yes, it's -18, but it's like F314. I prefer that risk. So if you condition your enemies enough, then this is a great string to actually use. Now for the entire string as a whole, I'll put this in a middle B. Next is FCDB 3+4. So this is, as you can see, it's a dance move and it's a high crush, by the way. So, but it's also kind of like a sidestep move that puts you to RDS. So it's a good enough crushing move when you do this from full crouch. I don't rely on it on the close range. I rely on it more in the far range. Okay, so I do this a lot with Victor players. So if they try to transition or dash in with you with a teleport and just execute RDS4. So thank me later for that if it works. So yes, but other than that, it's still a situational move. It won't win me games, but who knows, right? So I'll put this in a low B, maybe middle B, something like that. Next is full crouch down forward 2. So this one is a very outdated animation. This will now put you to RDS no matter what you do. So, but still the -8 and the +3 is still the same. Now the thing is, I use this for more of like a mix-up situation with AOP F21 and AOP F2. So it's a great conditioning tool. It's like, oh, I'm doing a single low move, and then the next I will do a 2-hit low move. So that's my play. You will see it a lot in my replays. So at first in season 2, I really hated this move or this change, but then I realized how beneficial it is for us Xiaoyu players. So this one, I'll put this in a high A. Next is full crouch down forward 2-1. So this has a similar input with AOP F21, and the pluses are the same, the animations are the same, and whether you go for the 1 hit or the 2 hits, you will be in RDS, whether it gets blocked or gets hit. Now this one, I just said that I mixed this up with a single hit because it has a good, it's like a good annoying type of animation, and you're getting hit like endlessly with this. And it's also a natural combo on hit, so don't forget about that. You'll be in RDS, you'll be at +3. So this one I also use this as a form of like Oki. It's like nudging them when they're on the ground. So this one is a great change in season 2, and I would love to use it more. And I hope there is like an extension move for this in season 3. I hope so because it's that great of a string. So let's just make it better. So for this one, and for AUP F21, I'll put this in a high A. Next is the front-facing heat smash. So when you transition to RDS, you'll be at +9. If not, you'll be at just like +5 or +4. I don't rely on the RDS version of this anymore. I actually like this better than RDS heat smash, just because I can access it better. A great Xiaoyu player can play RDS and front-facing like it's her natural neutral. I don't know if I made sense. But with this one, I'm front facing more rather than in RDS. So I tend to make this work more rather than the RDS Heat Smash. +9 is no joke. You can go for a frame trap for this for RDS 3, so your opponent can't rechart. Or let's say RDS D3 and so on. This is also a good low crush. It functions like a shooting star. You know, the UF3+4, but this one is a better version of it. But the thing is, this is very linear, by the way. So there are only a few chances that you will be able to track this. Other than that, this is a great heat smash. I will put this in a high A. And of course, we have the RDS heat smash. And this one was godlike in season 1. But if you know me, I don't use this move that much. Not because it's not good, but I'm training myself not to rely on it. If ever I'm gonna go for a plus, I would go for the regular heat smash because at least I can be +5 in the neutral on block. Now the thing is, this one has the same thing. It can be cancelled into front facing, and you'll be at the same thing +5. But it has some sort of like an awkward feeling and an awkward moment that I feel like I have negative frames. I know you know what I mean. But yeah, they have the same thing, but I'm more comfortable with the regular Heat Smash. So again, comfort over style. But if this one hits, then it's great. If it gets blocked, it's still good. I'm not saying it's bad. But the thing is, in order for me to get use of that +9, I will be in hip. Okay, so I know it looks pretty and all, but I might make a video about the heat smashes on what to choose in each situation. It's still a great heat smash. I love it. Let's put it behind the front facing heat smash. Next is the Heat FF12. So it's only accessible with Heat. Now you can go to RDS or front facing. You'll have a different advantage for each. And it's also a natural combo on hit. Now on block, your opponent can sidestep this. So a great way to make use of this is to make your opponent be afraid of your FF1 first. So that means that, like I said, in doing FF14, it's more of like a high skill thing. And once you established that FF14, then you can try to use this again because now they will be hesitant in sidestepping. So enjoy your +5, or if this one is a counter hit launcher, then it will be a combo starter. So again, condition your enemy first, and then use this, okay? But it's really up to you if you still want to risk it. For me, that's not good enough of a risk. So for this one, I'll put this in middle B. Next one is F212. And this one, there are a lot of videos about this, not just with me. You'll see that it's a great combo ender. It's her best wall combo ender because you'll be at like +20 and you can do a lot of Oki with that much of an advantage. Now, this one is a natural combo. So that means if your F2 gets hit, then you can guarantee that it will become a natural combo, and that's an easy 50 damage. Now, it's the same thing with FF12. You can try to condition your enemies first with F214, or if you can, hit confirm it with F212 or just the F21, then go ahead. But yeah, this is a godlike string, by the way. So you can do so much with it, and it's not just a wall combo ender. Okay? I'll actually put this in the S. It's let's put it in top 4. Next is Hip 2, and this is a heat engager. In the neutral, this is a great way to have some pushback. All Hip 2 variants, 1 step, 2 step, or 3 steps, will give you some sort of pushback, but they will have different advantages. So the best advantage would be the +9, but the pushback is too far. So if you want to make use of the 3-step hip to +9, then you do it in the wall or near the wall because the pushback won't be as far as with a no wall situation. Now, the play for this is just hip 2 versus hip 3, like always. But if you are more of like a high skilled player, you know when to use your other hip moves. Okay, so this one, I'll go for this in middle A. Next is her unblockable. So it's hip 2+3. So this one will have a 10 damage increment on the number of steps. So this one is a great Oki tool at some setups. I don't have a setup for it because I don't want that much of a risk when I'm doing my setups. My setups are like 33, 33, 33 instead of 50-50. Want more setups like that. But I do this when I know that my enemy is scared. And number two, when I'm battling a jack. Other than that, I don't use the cancel for this that much, but I know great Link players that make use of this, and I've been a victim with most of them. So find a use for it. I'm not one of those. So now I'll put this in a B. Let's put it in a middle B. I think that's a fair placement. Yeah, maybe here. Next is Hip 3. So this is a great addition in Tekken 8 for Xiaoyu. So for the first step, you'll just put your enemy to crouch and you'll be at like +7. So on 2 hits, it will be a knockdown. 3 steps, it will become a launcher. But even with those 3 steps, no matter how many steps you will do, you will be -13. So that's a good note to take. So there are only a few players or characters that can actually launch this. So just take note of that. One of them is actually Kazuya. When you hit this, you'll be in the front facing state. You'll actually not be in the while standing. It might look like it, but yeah, make use of that whenever you do this, whether it's a 1 step, 2 step, or 3 steps. And also, this is a great homing move, and but it's kind of slow, so try to get some plus first with FF4 or the RDS Heat Smash before doing this move, okay? So now I'll put this in a low A. Next is hip 3+4. So you can cancel this to RDS and you'll get a juicy +8 on hit. But the thing is it's high, it's a slow move. All highs are kind of like that, but you'll get your plus. And on hit you'll get a launcher. Now on hit, the angle of your enemy will depend on what angle you will actually hit it. So just use your FF3, it's the safest one of them. But if you're kind of near to the enemy on knockdown, then you can try your F3-1. So now I use this a lot to gain a plus. I don't actually use it on a no wall situation. So that is when I do my mix and then do a lot of stuff with it. Enjoy your +8. So you'll be in the neutral after it, and then you can do so much of it. You can try to frame trap your enemies with DF2 extensions, or you can get another plus, like I don't know, F4 if you want, or down back 3. Up to you. Okay, so for this, I'll put this in a high B, even though I am using it a lot lately. Next is hip 4, and hip 4 is high, but it's minus on block. And on hit, it's a launcher, whether it's a counter hit or not. Now, this one is an I-14. Okay, so if you are doing some hypnotist stuff, let's say FF4, you can try to do this and try to fish for a launcher out of it. You can even try to do this when you're 1 down 2 hits, and then you transition to hip, and then you go for hip 4. Again, I'm not doing 1 down 2 back or to hip when I know that my 1 down 2 will get blocked. But if I do notice that I realized it late, then I will still execute this one as it's the fastest move in Hypnotist. Okay, so I'd rather risk getting ducked, but I can't risk getting hit with my minus framed hip 2 or hip 3. Okay, this is an outdated clip, by the way. Just know that it is a launcher. So this one, I'll put this in a high B. Let's put it beside hip 3 plus 4. Next is sidestep 4. So this one is a great long range low poke with a CH launcher potential. And on the ground, your enemy will pancake flip, so you can do a lot of Oki with it. Now, this one is a very great move, actually. I should use it a lot more. So, minus 13 on block and minus 2 on hit. Now, the thing is, you'll be in wild standing, so you're kind of limited on what you can do. You can try to fish for, let's say, a counter hit while standing 2, or just go for your while standing 4. I see a lot of Xiaoyu players do the SS4 to 1 plus 2. It doesn't really fit my playstyle, but I tend to go for UB3 instead. So that's how I play it. So now I will. This one is a great move. I'll put this in high A. Next one is up 1 plus 2 to 1. Now the third hit can be delayed and it can be transitioned to back turned. However, this one I don't really use that much, but I should, and I kept saying that. I think ATB told me or told us that it's a great spacing tool, so I might explore that. But right now, I really don't have a usage for this other than to fish a counter hit natural combo. So, if for example, the first hit, the U1 plus 2 is a counter hit, it will be a natural combo for all three. I might try to use it more, but yeah, other than that, this is like AUP D1. I'll put this beside it, but it might go up once I get a usage for it. I don't know if I'm gonna do a video like this again. And also, by the way, U1 plus 2, when you hold down, you'll be in the wild standing state, okay? Next is up back 3. And up back 3 is a Tekken 8 move, a new move for her. And it has a very long range. So you can try to fish this one after you do something like RDS down back, and it's a great whiff punishing tool. It's minus 13 though, and also, by the way, with minus 13, you are in AOP. So that means that you are not just minus 13. If you try to go up in the neutral state, it will take a little bit more frames and you will still be vulnerable. So the defensive options for the UB3 on block is, let's say you go AOP up, you could go for a heat burst, or you could go for the AUP side roll. So, but other than that, if you use this correctly, it's a great long range tool. So this one is actually in the S tier. So let's put it there. Next is UB4, and this is a tornado and a power crush. Now, this is kind of linear, kind of. But the thing is, it's also a great anti-air tool because it will be a tornado when you hit them on the air. So basically, this is a great tool for someone like Alyssa that flies a lot, or even Devil Jin. So try to use it. I know it's gonna hurt, but it's a great tool to actually use versus these enemies. Now, also, if this is a great tool for Zavina as well. If you block something and it transitions her to Tarantula stance, you can try to fish an instant tornado when she does that. Okay, so a great tool. It's a one-hit tornado, so it's great for wall combos as well. I'll put this in B. High B. Next is UF1. So this is a similar animation with RDS UF1, but the thing is, this is only plus 10 guardable advantage, and it will put your enemy to crouch. Now, again, it's minus 7. You are in AOP. Again, you are not really minus 7. So when this one gets blocked, you can try to go for a heat burst or a side roll, or you can try to stand up and then guard. Also, you can cancel the AUP stance by going to while standing or full crouch state by holding your down. Okay? So this one, I use RDS UF1 more, so I'll put this in the C. If it becomes plus 12, then it will go up beside RDS UF1, or maybe even higher than that. So, but for now, it's going to be in the C. Next is UF2, and this is a move that I hated back then because it's very linear, unlike with King. But when I found out how I can make my enemies not sidestep, I tend to use this a lot more. It's a great low crush as well, and it has counter hit potential. And similar to F212 or FF12, if you go to front facing and RDS, they will have different advantages. So take note of that. It's not very situational for me anymore to actually use it, but it still has its weaknesses. Unless you can find a strategy to make your opponent not sidestep, don't use this move ever. Okay? Even though I use this move a lot, I will put this in a middle B, just because it's still risky. Okay, it's also not good of a risk. So when I use this, I actually am fishing for a plus, a safe plus. Okay. Next is her hop kick, UF3. Now, unlike other characters, hers is 16 or I16. For example, Lily has I15 and so on. It's actually kind of bad because if, for example, you crouch something and you are at like minus 15, you can't launch them. Okay, so that's the downside of this move. So, but actually, it's kind of like a compensation because we have a standing three, which is like an I14. Not everyone has an I14 standing move, so I think that's why they made it like this. So I hope in season three it becomes an I15, but who knows? So I use this a lot when I kind of sidestep or when I use something like 1+2 for some reason. For some reason, it just works. So you can try it on your own and see how it will work for you. So, but for this one, I'll put this in the middle B as well. Yeah, lots of Bs actually. Next is UF 3+4 or Shooting Star. So this one has a great pushback on block, and it's only -1. So you can do a lot of things with -1 and that pushback. And also, I've been experimenting with this move like a lot, and it it's still dangerous for me. So if there's a move that I'm actually experimenting on a lot, it's this move. And it's still really dangerous and risky. It's easily sidesteppable, but I really want to find a more stable usage of this. This is also a low crush and it also has like 3 hits. So it's like a flying D1. Okay? This is a knockdown. And also, by the way, if this whiffs, you will be in the RDS state. Okay? So take note of that. I'll put this in a middle B again. There are a lot of Xiaoyu moves that don't work on their own. You need to mix it with another move to make it work. And that's the problem with Xiaoyu, but at the same time, that is what makes her unique. Okay? Next is UF4. So this is a Tekken 3 move. And actually, I like this move a lot as a keep out. So when you do this, it's kind of like you're like a Brian player. The only difference is on regular hit, this will just put your enemy to crouch and you'll be at plus. But it will have the Brian effect when it's a counter hit. So it's a good risk. Don't worry about the -7. You can also go to AOP after this, but I prefer to go for the while standing or the full crouch state by holding down. It's an okay move. It's a linear move as well, but it will not really win you games, unlike with Brian. Okay, so this is sort of like a surprise move for your enemy. Yeah, I really like this move as a keep out, not in the short range or anything like that. So for this one, I'll put this in. I wanted middle B again, but okay, let's say a lower B. There you go. Next is while standing 1-4. So this is your while standing I-12 Punisher, and it's a natural combo. And you'll be in +12, by the way, but it's a guardable advantage. On block, you're at -10, and similar to AOP, you're not really just -10 because you are in a stance. So go for your defensive options. Nowadays I go for the RDS Power Crush, but you can also go for a parry, a sabaki, whatever you want. Okay, so I use this a lot, but in high level play, try to refrain using this move. You can still risk it, but for now, just do it. It's also like a wall stun sort of thing, and you can have a wall combo out of that. So take note of that. You can also delay this. However, I don't delay it that much, or let's say I don't delay it at all. But you know, if it's a good to know thing. So maybe I will experiment with while standing one, then while standing one for. I'll see. So for this one, I'll put this in a low A. Next is While Standing 2. Now, this has a great potential to become a counter hit launcher. You will see a lot in your games that the hitbox for this is kind of like, it kind of has like a ghost property to it. And it's just an illusion. Again, if you transition to RDS, you will have a different advantage and disadvantage. And also with when you go to neutral by holding your forward. There will be moments that it will be better for you to go to the front facing stance rather than the RDS version of it. Either way, you need to be ready for the counter hit potential. So both of them will lift the enemy on counter hit. So be ready with your combo. Okay. So this one is a high A actually. Now it's a while standing to hold. So it's this versus UB3 when you are punishing stagger moves. Whichever you're comfortable with, as long as you launch the enemy, everything's good. Now this one, it's a great bait because Xiaoyu will stay in the full crouch for a, a bit more frames, a few more frames. Um, and also on regular hit, this will launch. So if they try to duck for some reason, they will be thinking that you are going to do a low move. Then you can try to charge this one up. On regular hit, it will launch whether you go to front facing or to RDS. So again, be ready with your combo. So for this one, I'll put this beside the while standing too. So let's put it that in that location. Next up is while standing 3. So this one is similar to UF2. So you need to find a strategy wherein you can make the opponent not sidestep. So always remember that. And also, you will put the enemy in crouch with you having +3. So this has a counter hit potential. So if you counter hit them, then just be ready with something like F3 1 or even 1 down 2. Save the combo. Okay, don't think about the optimal. Now, if you hit the enemy while they are crouching, they will be taken down. So you could go for your UB4 or let's say your 3+4 to follow that up. Now, I personally use instant while standing 3 for let's say beginner to middle level Xiaoyu players. Just go for something like RDSDB and then while standing 3 as a start. Okay, so this one I'll put this in a low B. Lastly is while standing 4. So while standing 4 is an I11 move on while standing. So on knockdown, if you try to FF3 and your opponent doesn't move, then it will float them. So I have a float guide, just look at my channel. Now on block, you'll be at -10, but you will have a lot of pushback for this. So you're technically kind of safe. This is a great move actually, and to reset your neutral with your enemy. Okay, since it's a fast move, you can try to use this out of pressure and you'll be fine. Okay, if it hits, okay, your opponent is knocked down. If blocked, you have to push back. That is actually the last move, and this move is a high A. Now, this is how our tier list looks like, but to be fair, I will make the S tier only top 10. So we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 moves. So we will remove 6 moves. I'll put them in the A. Okay. So let's put 1 on A. 2, 1, 2. 1 down to AOP UF3, B1, D1, B1 plus 2. They're all good, actually. Okay, let's put RDS homing throw in the A. F3 1 with A. This is hard. This is so hard. Okay. 4 4 3 to A. Let's see. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Two more. Okay. Okay. Let's go with 4 4 3 in A. And we need one more. Let's go with down 1, even though it's my favorite keep out move. Okay, so we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. So those are my top 10 moves. Let's rearrange them. Okay, let's put it here at the fourth. B1 plus 2, let's put it here. And there you go. So that's it for my final tier list. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and this will change a lot, but I don't know if I'm going to record it again. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope I shared a lot of the things that I've been doing lately. And I know that maybe in the second half I changed clothes, and because I did this in like different days. I had stressful weeks with work. So yes, so you can also notice that half of the clips are shorter. So if you have any questions about certain moves, then you can just ask me in the comments, or you can just you know DM me. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for the continued support. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.